This video will explain how to change the transport route for each product. To change the transport route of each product, the conveyor routing rule needs to be changed. First, open the How to Change the Transport Route for Each Product.vcmx. Go to the Process tab, Editor, and click Flow. Then, go to the Process Flow Editor window and click Flow CAN. Click the Feeder Process node and then the Sink CAN process node in that order to generate a process flow between feeder and sink CAN. Next, go to the Process Flow Editor window and click Flow Bottle. Click the Feeder Process node and then the Sink Bottle process node in that order to generate a process flow between feeder and sink bottle. Play the simulation. The can will move straight, while the bottle will move to the side. The transport route of products on the conveyor is decided in the routing rule settings. Click the Conveyor Y Divert. Open Routing Rule at the bottom of the Component Properties window. We will now explain the routing rule settings. Route displays the currently set routes in a list. Type sets the rules for the routes. The properties that are displayed below type are the properties that can be set for each rule. We will explain the cyclic rule, which is set by default. The cyclic rule decides the transport route following a set order. Here, the product transport route is currently in a straight to the side order. We will change the routing rule so that the transport route for products is decided by the process flow. Change the type to Transport Solution Rule, and on the dialog window that appears, click Yes. The Transport Solution Rule decides the transport route based on the process flow. Rule variable defines which setting in the process flow will be used with the route selection. When set to Next Transport Node, the transport route is decided by the next set transport node. When set to Source Node, the transport route is decided by which process the product was generated from. When set to Destination Node, the transport route is decided by which process the product is transported to. We will change the rule variable to Destination Node. Press Add Connection or Rule twice. Now we will define the transport route for the can. Set rule variable to Sink Process, CAN. Set connection to straight. Next we will define the transport route for the bottle. Set rule variable to Sink Process, Bottle. Set connection to side. The product transport route is now decided based on the destination node set in the process flow. Play the simulation. The can will go straight because the destination node is Sink Process, CAN, and the bottle will go to the side as the destination node is Sink Process, Bottle. Change the rule variable to Next Transport Node. As the transport node is defined in the process flow settings, products are transported as previously. Now we will check the operation when a process is added to the process flow. Go to the Home tab, Manipulation, and click PNP. Select both the Sink Process, CAN, and Conveyor number 3, and drag them away from Conveyor Y Divert to disconnect them. Go to the eCatalog window, Models by Type, PM Flow Components, and drag and drop a from Conveyor Process and a to Conveyor Process onto the 3D world. drag the from conveyor process towards the conveyor Y divert to connect them. Drag the to conveyor process towards conveyor number 3 to connect them. Now we will add a resource to transport products from the from conveyor process to the to conveyor process. Go to Models by Type, PM Resources, and drag and drop a human onto the 3D world. Then go to Models by Type, PM Transport Controllers, and drag and drop a human transport controller onto the 3D world. On the Modeling tab, click Interfaces under Connect, and connect the human transport controller resources with the human. Go to the Process tab, Editor, click Flow and modify the process flow. Go to the Process Flow Editor window and click Flow, Can. Click the diamond icon between the feeder and sink, Can, and press the Delete key to delete the transport link. With the feeder of the flow, Can, on the Process Flow Editor window selected, click the Feeder Process node, and then click the From Conveyor Process label in that order. Click the Human Transport Controller diamond icon to select it, and then click the To Conveyor Process label. Then, click the Human Transport Controller diamond icon again to deselect it, and then click the Sync, Can, Process node. We have modified the flow, Can, process flow to go in order of feeder, from conveyor to conveyor, and sink, Can. Now, we will modify the settings of the added process statement. Go to the Process tab, Editor, and click Processes, and then right-click From Conveyor. Click Transport In. From the Statement Properties window, change source to From Previous Process. Go to the Process tab, Editor, and click Processes, and then right-click to Conveyor. Click Transport Out. From the Statement Properties window, change Destination to Next Process. The added process statement has now been modified. Play the simulation. The Can stops at the conveyor Y divert. Select the conveyor Y divert and check its routing rule. As the process flow has changed, the next transport node for Can has changed from Sync Process, Can, to From Conveyor Process. As the transport route is not defined when the rule variable is From Conveyor Process, the Can will follow the transport route for when rule variable is default. However, the Can, stopped at the conveyor Y divert as Connect when rule variable is default is undefined, blank. Now we will change the rule variable from Sync Process, Can, to From Conveyor Process. Play the simulation. The product will be transported as previously. Next, we will change the rule variable to source node, so that the transport route is decided by which process is generated. First, we will add a feeder process so that cans and bottles are generated by separate processes. Select both the feeder process and conveyor, and drag them away from conveyor Y divert to disconnect them. Go to the eCatalog window, Models by Type, Conveyors, Visual Components, and drag and drop a crossing conveyor onto the 3D world. With PNP under Manipulation selected, drag the crossing conveyor towards the conveyor Y divert to connect them. Select both the feeder process and conveyor, and drag them towards the crossing conveyor to connect them. With feeder process and conveyor both selected, copy and paste them, then drag the generated copies towards the crossing conveyor to connect them. Click the crossing conveyor. We will now change the routing rule to always transport products in the direction of the conveyor Y divert. Click the feeder process. On the Product Creator tab in the Component Properties window, change feed mode to single, interval to 10, and part to can. Click the Default tab and change the name to Feeder Process, can. Click the Feeder Process number 2. On the Product Creator tab in the Component Properties window, change feed mode to single, interval to 10, and part to bottle. Click the Default tab and change the name to Feeder Process, bottle. By doing this, we can now generate cans and bottles separately. Next, we will select the conveyor Y divert and change its routing rule. Under Transport Solution Rule, change the rule variable to source node. Change the rule variable where connection is straight to feeder process, can, and the rule variable where connection is side to feeder process, bottle. With this, we have changed the routing rule. Finally, we will create some process flows. Go to the Process tab, Editor, and click Processes. Click the feeder of the feeder process, can. Change the name to feeder, can. Next, click the feeder of the feeder process, bottle. Change the name to feeder, bottle. Go to the Process tab, Editor, and click Flow. In the Process Flow Editor window, click Flow, can. Set the process flow between feeder, can, and sink, can. Go to the Process Flow Editor window and click Flow, Bottle. Set the process flow between feeder, bottle, and sink, bottle. By doing this, we have set the process flows. Play the simulation. As the can is now generated by feeder process, can, it will go straight, and as the bottle is now generated by feeder process, bottle, it will go to the side. This concludes our explanation on how to change the transport route for each product. Thank you for watching.